Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning in again today. I'm here to film a video about Bare Minerals' new Ready Pressed Foundation. I used to be a really big Bare Minerals fan, the loose powder, more in high school and college, and I'd recently gotten away from reaching for my Bare Minerals just because I feel like they take a lot of time to build the same sort of coverage that you could get out of a liquid foundation in one really quick and easy layer. So I kind of had steered away from using my Bare Minerals for a while, probably for the last 3 or 4 years I would say, but when I heard that they were coming out with a pressed version of their foundation, I was really excited because I do really enjoy using pressed mineral foundations for either over tinted moisturizers or even by themselves just as a quick and easy throw it on and go kind of look, or even to use for touch-ups throughout the day. So I was really excited to hear that they came out with this and definitely wanted to give it a try. So I'm just here to kind of give you my initial impressions on the product, talk a little bit about the similarities and differences between the pressed version and the loose version. But if there's anything that I don't cover in this video, just feel free to leave me a comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So starting out, it looks just like in the compact of all the other kind of ready pressed mineral products Bare Minerals has recently come out with, including their blushes and their eyeshadows. It has that rubberized matte compact, and the pressed powder looks very similar to what the bronzers and the mineral veils looked like, which previously came out prior to this. And I picked this up in the color medium, which is for medium skin with cool undertones. I had previously been wearing Fairly Light, which is for light skin with neutral undertones, and also medium beige. But I found medium beige to be a little bit too orange for my skin tone. And when I went into the store to get my foundation fitting, which is what they've been calling it, I was matched to medium. The shades in the pressed version do run slightly lighter than the loose mineral version, so I would definitely recommend getting color matched before purchasing this product. You may or may not need to switch depending on how light or dark you are. But I would recommend trying this out for size before you order it, or make sure that you order from a place that you know that you can return due to the slight differences of the pressed and loose powder form. I will say just right off the bat, I really enjoy this foundation. I was very surprised by the level of coverage I was able to achieve from the pressed powder, and also how pigmented the powder was. You don't have to use a lot of this product to get a good coverage, and one thing that I really disliked about the loose minerals was that I felt like I had to really build and use a lot of product up to really achieve the level of coverage that I was looking for. And with the pressed powder version, I felt like it was very quick and easy, and I really didn't have to use a lot of the product, and it took way less time than when using the loose powder. Also, it's a lot more portable, travel friendly, and just less messy. I just don't like the mineral residue getting all over my countertop and things like that. Now, the pressed foundation right now only comes in one formula, which they're not really coining as matte or original. As you guys know, the loose powder comes in original and matte formula, but this is just coming in one formula. Now, I will say I find it different than both the matte and the original loose mineral foundations. This is not quite as glowy or dewy as the original Bare Minerals is. The original Bare Minerals has this sort of waxy glow to it. It has this almost, not real shimmer, but it has this like sheen to it, where this really doesn't have that. I would say right off the bat, it resembles the matte finish a little bit more, but as you wear it throughout the day, you can see it get a lot more natural. Now, I have been wearing this foundation probably since about 8 a.m. and it's about 3:30 right now. So as you can see, it is beginning to look a lot more natural. I haven't touched up or powdered or, you know, blotted or anything like that. And I will say I've been very pleasantly surprised by the wear time. Yeah, I'm not having really any issues with oiliness, and it's not really bugging me. Granted, you know, it's not the end of the day quite yet, but I was kind of expecting this to have less staying power than it does. So I have been pleasantly surprised by the staying power and also by the oil control properties. I didn't really enjoy the original foundation in the loose minerals quite as much because I didn't find it to be mattifying enough. That's why you typically reach for the mattifying loose minerals, but this is sort of like the perfect medium between those two, where it's not really mattifying, like super powdery looking, but it's also not have that kind of sheen, candly, waxy glow to it that I personally didn't enjoy. One thing I do want to point out about this, however, is that it does contain bismuth oxychloride, and if you've watched any of my videos about Bare Minerals, you will know that that is an irritant, and it does make my skin itch. Now, I have not experienced any major itching from this foundation yet. I did have a little bit of itching right around my hairline when a couple hours after I first applied it, but it hasn't been a major problem or concern. That said, I haven't really been sweating today because it's fairly cold outside, and typically the times I would find that my pores and my skin were most irritated by the Bare Minerals is when it was hot outside and I would be sweating and my pores would be opening up, the makeup would be getting inside, and I would get very itchy. So I can't really say for sure whether or not this is going to irritate my skin. I'll keep you posted. I suspect that it might because it does have that bismuth oxychloride in it, which the matte version of the loose minerals does not have. So if you know that you have a problem with bismuth oxychloride, again, I would just be cautious of it. Make sure that you purchase it from a retailer that you can exchange it or return it if you do find that there's a problem. It hasn't been overly irritating or annoying to me, but you never know. Everybody has different sensitivities. I wanted to also touch on application of this foundation. It was marketed with a precision face brush, which is a synthetic flat top brush, but it's cut at an angle. I didn't buy the brush. I think it's about $28, and I have several other synthetic buffer brushes already, so I kind of wanted to just try the foundation on my own without that brush and see if I liked it before I made the investment of the brush. Now that I've tried it with my e.l.f. flat top and also my Sigma F80 flat top, I thought that both of these brushes worked really well. So if you don't want to spend the money on the brush, I would definitely suggest one of these. Two other brushes I haven't tried yet that I think might also work is the Sigma F82 round top kabuki, that's synthetic, and also the Sigma angled top kabuki F84. I think both of these would work really well. But basically the technique, rather than the swirl, tap, buff technique of the loose, this you don't really need to swirl because it's already pressed. If you swirl this around, you're gonna have all the product go everywhere. It's gonna be messy. It's gonna also be wasteful. So what they're suggesting is just tapping the brush into the foundation and then dragging and buffing it along your face. Now, I found the dragging technique, which is what they recommend if you watch like the demo on QVC and things like that. I didn't find that to have the best coverage or payoff in terms of coverage. What I like to do is I would tap it in there and then I would tap it on my skin or buff it into my skin and tap, or drag, buff and tap. Just one thing I will say about Bare Minerals foundations is that they sort of create a blank canvas where they don't give your face a lot of dimension, especially when you first apply them. When you first apply them, they can look a little bit powdery and dull and just kind of make you look very flat, very one-dimensional. So I wouldn't advise you use this product if you're not going to be committing to partnering it with a blush or a bronzer as well. I just don't think this is the sort of foundation you can just throw on and go and really look very natural. Especially that first hour mark or so when you're first wearing it, it can look a little bit powdery. So I think just adding that bronzer, that blush just helps add some color and life to your face as the minerals kind of adjust into your skin. Another thing I'll say is I definitely would recommend partnering this foundation with a concealer or some sort of corrector for the under eye area. This foundation is not going to cover acne, rosacea, dark pigmentation, discoloration on your face. I mean, this is a light to medium buildable coverage. It's very natural finish, it's very lightweight on the skin, and it looks like real skin, which is why it's so amazing. but it's not the kind of thing that's going to correct dark under eye circles. It's just not going to happen. So if you have problem areas, I'd highly recommend using, you know, a liquid concealer or a corrector or something like that on those areas before applying the foundation, and then it will just help kind of even everything out. I would also recommend partnering this foundation with some sort of primer. Today I used the Benefit Porefessional Pro Balm to minimize the appearance of pores. This is just sort of a silicone-based silky primer that helps even out the skin tone, fill in those pores and fine lines and wrinkles before you add the foundation, and it really just helps the foundation apply very evenly on the skin. Bare Minerals does have a primer called Prime Time, but I don't think you necessarily have to use that primer. Any sort of silicone-based primer that you have, I think, would work very well with this. I just think it helps minimize the amount of products that you have to use. It also helps minimize the amount of buffing that you have to do to make it look smooth against your skin. So I just think it would also, you know, just help it last longer throughout the day as well. Like I said, I think this is a really great foundation. I would highly recommend you all check it out. I think that the portable pressed format is just perfect for on the go, and it's just a lot easier for the modern woman to use. I think that loose mineral makeup is sort of a thing of the past, especially for on the go, and if you already have mineral makeup that you enjoy using, you could always use that in the morning and then keep something like this in your bag for touch-ups. And things like that. So I hope that this video answered all your questions. If you have any other questions or things that I forgot to mention, please just leave me a comment below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.